you pregnant or know anybody with kids who need help with parenting? Well, that's what GPS does. We help clients in the community in San Gabriel. We're at the corner of San Gabriel Boulevard and Delta Avenue, and we're your local pregnancy services center to help individuals and families just like you. GPS is located right here in the AK Plaza. We're listed right there, GPS Free Pregnancy Services. Now come on in. Follow me. Hey, you guys made it. Come on in to GPS. And check yourself in.
Hey, thank you for coming. Welcome. My name is Pearl. We have a lot of great stuff to talk about. Sign yourself in and follow me to the multi-purpose room.
And over here is our literature wall. This provides you with knowledge on healthy relationships, pregnancy options, and healthy choices. Let's take a closer look.
Let's look at the healthy relationship quiz. For women, do you want to know the truth about your relationship? Is your relationship healthy or is it full of holes? Is your relationship the forever marriage type or is it the runaway really fast type? Take the quiz below to find out the truth. My partner makes me feel like a princess. Partner. Party friend. When I go out with my girlfriends, my partner lets me enjoy myself. Gets concerned. Questions me when I get home to make sure nothing happened. Calls me continually to make sure I'm not messing around.
Hey there, this is Jonathan, and I'm going to be reading you the Healthy Relationship Test for Men. So this is basically the same pamphlet as the one for women, but it just gives you the men perspective. We can open it up and check it out. Start right here on day to day. It asks you questions like, I would describe my relationship with my girlfriend as A, joyful and deep, B, mostly great, C, sometimes tough, D, very hard with serious trouble, or E, all out war. When I think of my partner, the thing I want most is to get or stay married as long as possible, to stay together as long as possible, to enjoy each other and split when we don't find something better, to leave her and go somewhere else. If this sounds like your relationship, maybe this is a pamphlet you should check out. We can go up here to the top corner and we can look at number 4. When I go out with my guy friends, my partner lets me enjoy myself, gets concerned, questions me when I get home, calls me continuously. E, follows me and spies on me. Lurking. Oh no. I can come to sex. When I want sex and my partner doesn't, I'm fine with that and try again later. I ask many times, etc., etc.
Next, we have healthy boundaries. Boundaries are very important in any relationship. A person without boundaries may be easily pushed to doing something they don't want to do, overly involved in helping others, constantly making bad decisions and blaming the consequences on others, controlling of the actions of others, or easily hurt when their friend or family member wants to do something without them.
A person with good boundaries would be able to stand up for what they think is right, are able to help others without linking their own self-esteem to the success of others, able to see when and where they make mistakes and take responsibility, able to let others be themselves without constantly getting in others' business.
This one is just for the girls, so guys, you can cover your ears. Many girls find out the hard way, through infections, broken hearts, untimely pregnancies, that love does not equal sex. They think they must have sex to keep their boyfriend, but when it's over, instead of feeling loved or cherished, they feel ripped off. Respect yourself. Maybe you need a new attitude. Turn the tables. Like, if your guy wants to keep you, tell him to drop the push for sex. Aren't you worth more than sex?
Alright, so this pamphlet is just for the fellas, for the guys only, so the rest of you girls can just look away. The truth is, sex isn't about being cool, what they think feels good, or even the crazy sex thoughts that you're battling. Sex without marriage pulls you down, way down. Truth is, sex is more than quick thrills. It's about your health and your life. A real man can control his body. He's in control of his urges, so he can control of his future. I mean, honestly, the hard reality is that love does not equal sex at all. Safe sex. What is safe sex? This pamphlet explains that basically safe sex is simply abstinence. Did you know that condoms are only 85% effective in preventing AIDS, a routinely fatal disease? Typical use of condoms carries a 14% failure rate for pregnancy alone, which is very high.
And here's the last one. Let's save this till later. Let's take a look at this last pamphlet called Before You Choose. Very important. You're pregnant. Abortion may seem like an easy way to end it all, but it's not that easy, and it's not your only choice. Look at this little baby. It's only 6 weeks old, and it's perfectly formed. Very tiny, but perfect. Perhaps getting pregnant was a mistake, but abortion can be a bigger one. You know now that the best solution will respect your rights and the rights of the new life growing within you. You don't have to make your decision alone. There are caring people who can help you understand your choices and pick the one that works best for you. They offer friendship, understanding, and complete confidentiality. And most importantly, no pressure to do anything you don't want to do.
I decided that, okay, it's time for a change.
I've been trying to be abstinent and stuff and proven that not all women who have babies are sexually available, because it's not true.
I realized that, hey, I'm not perfect. I made a mistake. But the first sign of growth is change.
My boyfriend now really supports my abstinence decision because he feels very strongly about it too.
Everybody can make the decision whether to be sexually available or not. It doesn't matter where you've been, your past, your present, your future. Just as long as you have that in your mind that you want to be abstinent, it can take you anywhere.
So I was willing to change, and I just took the stand and said, hey, I'm going to wait. And if you're not going to wait with me, then you'll wait without me.
I decided that for me, I needed to protect myself. I needed to be emotionally okay. And I decided that having sex outside of marriage just wasn't going to help me be emotionally okay.
Sex took so much more than it was giving, and it was not worth it. So I just had to, have self-control, self-determination, just self-respect for myself.
I told myself from this day, I have to be abstinent. I don't want to go through that anymore.
I have to deal with the pain of having sex before. I have to deal with the fact that I have a son.
The emotional consequences, even the ones that I faced as a young woman having premarital sex, are so overwhelming. It takes away a piece of you with each partner each time.
And it's not just the act of having sex, it's being intimate with someone, giving all of yourself to someone.
If you haven't waited and you're waiting now, I know that there's some days when you are by yourself and you're used to that companionship of another person, but if the person really loves you, they'll wait for you.
The decision to remain abstinent is hard. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It's not like I still don't have the urges. It's not like I still can't see somebody walking by and I'm like, wow. Or it's still like I don't want that companionship, and it's not like I don't ever get lonely.
To maintain my abstinence, I am focused on my inner beauty. I stay focused. Yeah, I look very hard into my future because I really want the best for me. And I love myself, and so I deserve the best.
As far as sex and the emotional consequences, well, we all know about, the STDs risk and the pregnancy risk, but the emotional state, that's just as serious because having sex could, for women, it's all about emotional, and we love so quickly and so strong that love could do you in just as bad as an STD. You never know. You're taking a risk then too.
You have to have boundaries. The first rule of abstinence is boundaries. Boundaries. You have to set them out on the first date. Like, hey, I'm abstinent. I plan on staying that way. If you can't handle that, then this was a wonderful date. Have a nice life.
Me and my boyfriend spoke about the abstinence decision. He thinks it's fine. When we do have time for each other, we make sure we're not alone. And my daughter's always with us anyways. We usually go to the movies, out to the mall, or out to eat. When we know not to put ourselves in situations where it's just us two alone together, because we already know that temptation is there and we don't even want to have to face temptations.
I spent all the time thinking about all the guys, and now I'm, focusing on myself for this point in my life and figuring out where I am in my life, where I want to go, and just focusing on myself right now.
Never one-on-one time. I never, put myself in a compromising position because things happen. People make mistakes. You get caught in the heat of the moment. And so I say, friendship first is always a great idea, to be friends first and then see what you can build from there. Because even if you don't, build a relationship, you have a friend now.
I can't put myself in a situation where, she comes over to my apartment, we have dinner and watch a movie. It's not gonna happen. I just can't allow that. I can't allow that opportunity to present itself.
As a matter of fact, one called me the other night, and we were talking on the phone, and the conversation just didn't even feel right, because he was just like, oh, what are you doing tonight? You want to come over? And it was late night, and you already know what's going to go on. They calling you late night, wanting to see you, so I was like, no, thank you, I'm fine. Seeing you late at night doesn't work at all.
Oh man, the types of comebacks that I come back with for guys, like, are you a nun? I say yes. And then guys say, oh, you're just lying. Just wait a minute. You just don't know me. Once you get to know me, you'll see. You'll want to. And then I say, well, once you get to know me, you'll see that you still will want to, and I won't.
And if you don't think that there's consequences, you don't have to believe that there's consequences. There's consequences whether you believe it or not.
I had made the decision to take that pregnancy test and tape it to the bedpost in my room for about 6 months to 9 months.
That could be an STD, that can be a child, that can be pain, that can be luggage that you bring into other relationships.
It is the self-confidence and self-control, and to abstain, just be strong and tell these men that I'm worth more than what you expect. You're not going to treat me any kind of way, and you're not going to influence me to do things that I don't want to do.
And then there's sometimes where I just flat out say, hey, look, you can't respect it, you can't be around. The more you do it, the better you become at it. You come up with better excuses for guys. You come up with better things to tell your friends when they say, you're being abstinent? No, why? You say, hey, that's your thing. I could always do what you do. I could always make the decision to have sex. But the difference between you and I is that I choose not to be. If you get one good friend, if you pick one friend and you both vow to be abstinent with each other, you can call them like, hey, I'm in the bathroom, we're alone. Talk to me out of it.
One of those things is telling people about it. Sitting here in this chair talking to you and letting the world know that this is my decision and this is what I'm gonna stand by. Because it gives you more accountability when someone else says, I seen you say this.
And to see if you have a boyfriend and you guys are sexually active and you say, hey, look, I went through this program with the Abstinence Plan A, and they were saying some things that really made sense to me, and I think that we should wait. That's the test of love right there.
might not think your boyfriend thinks you're wonderful, but you are, that you are worth more than anything. You're worth waiting for. You're worth waiting for, period.
It's just so much easier to have fun with him and, know there's no pressure to have sex. So it's just a lot easier to be in a relationship like that because it's more fun and just really easy.
Just know that having sex is not going to keep him.
You work on yourself and help build up who you are before you get married instead of keep giving yourself off piece by piece before you get married. It's better to work on yourself before you get married and have sex.
The decision to be abstinent definitely made our relationship better.
It's worth it to wake up in the morning and to know that I'm doing the right thing. It's a real peace. It's not having to cry yourself to sleep at night.
The peace of mind is beyond explanation. I feel so much more relieved. I don't have to worry about, hey, I gotta go to the doctor because I don't know if this guy had something and I don't know if the condom broke.
So yeah, it's hard, but it's worth it.
I can do it, and it may be hard on the long run, but I'm gonna do it. I can do this. It's just a whole bunch of self-control.
But anything that's worth something is gonna be difficult.
It's so well worth it. The wait, the reward is priceless.
Within a week of conception, your fertilized egg, known as a blastocyst, will make its way to your uterus. The egg is about the size of a pen tip. In days, the cells in the egg arrange themselves into groupings. The inner cell mass will become your baby. The outer cells will become the amniotic sac and placenta. The blastocyst then sheds its protective casing in a process called hatching and burrows into the lush uterine wall. Around week 5, your developing baby is the size of a sesame seed. The cells that once formed the blastocyst's inner cell mass begin organizing and arranging, giving shape to the young embryo and forming primitive organs. Your baby's brain and spinal cord are visible through his translucent skin. Right around this time, your baby's circulatory system also forms, and his heart begins to beat. Your baby looks more like a tiny tadpole than a human. He's drawing nutrients and oxygen through the newly formed placenta and umbilical cord. By week 9, the embryonic tail is gone. Your baby's looking more human every day. Protruding limbs and fingers, a defined nose, mouth, and eyes, and tiny earlobes. Your new resident is about the size of a grape and weighs a fraction of an ounce. It's hard to believe how rapidly one cell evolves in such a short time into the unmistakable body of a baby. At 10 weeks and barely the size of a kumquat, your baby is entering the fetal stage of development. His facial features are defined, and his tooth buds are forming. Over the next weeks, his tissues and organs will rapidly grow and mature. The webbing is gone between his fingers and toes, and his nails and fingerprints are developing. Your baby can open and close his fists and curl his toes. Thanks to his developing muscles and reflexes, he's now moving his limbs and kicking up a storm. If this is your first baby, though, you likely won't feel his flutters until 18 to 20 weeks. Through translucent skin, his vital organs are visible and functioning, including his growing brain, nervous system, intestines, and liver, which is making red blood cells in place of the disappearing yolk sac. The umbilical cord is working hard now. One vein delivers oxygen and nutrient-rich blood to your baby. 2 arteries then carry the blood away. Around week 12, the kidneys have begun producing urine, which your baby will soon start excreting into the amniotic fluid. He'll swallow the fluid and the process will begin again. By week 14, your baby's eyes and ears have moved into place, and he can squint, frown, and grimace. You're now beginning the 2nd trimester of pregnancy, which many women say is when they feel their best. Between 15 and 20 weeks, your baby will more than double in size. As his body grows, his nervous system is rapidly maturing. His nerves are connecting his brain to the rest of his body, traveling from the brain through the brainstem and down the spine, and beginning to extend into his torso and limbs. Your baby's skeleton is changing too. The soft cartilage is starting to harden into bone. This happens first in the arms and legs. Sensory development is picking up speed. Your baby's brain is designating special areas for smell, taste, hearing, vision, and touch. At this stage, your baby may be able to hear your heartbeat and voice. So read aloud or sing a happy tune. Your baby may even be sucking his thumb now. At about 18 weeks, you'll start to experience one of the most exciting parts of pregnancy, feeling your baby's movements. His flexing arms and legs may feel like gentle flutters at first. They'll become even stronger and more frequent in the weeks ahead. At 20 weeks, your baby weighs a little more than 10 ounces and measures about 10 inches from head to heel, about the length of a banana. This week is a big milestone, the halfway point in your pregnancy. Between 21 and 27 weeks, your baby's sense of touch is developing, along with his unique fingerprints. When you rub or gently press on your belly, you may feel your baby squirm or kick in response. He can feel his own face now, as well as anything within his reach, including the umbilical cord. He'll keep experimenting with and refining his sense of touch. Around 23 weeks, your baby can swallow. Soon after, you may notice fetal hiccups. Don't worry, hiccups are a normal part of development, and it's common for your baby to have them several times a day. His lungs are also forming millions of tiny branches called bronchioles. Incredibly, your baby is already practicing breathing by inhaling and moving small amounts of amniotic fluid in and out of his lungs. At 24 weeks, a baby is capable of surviving outside the uterus with significant medical help. At 27 weeks, your baby's eyelids may open as a reflex, but he can't see yet. His lips are formed, and he now has tiny taste buds on his tongue. He weighs nearly 2 pounds and is about 14.5 inches long. Now there's just one more trimester to go. You and your baby are beginning your last trimester together. At 28 weeks, your baby weighs just over 2 pounds. He'll more than triple his weight between now and birth and build a layer of fat that will help keep him warm outside the womb. Your baby's skeleton is hardening. The bones in his head have not yet fused together, which will allow them to slightly overlap as his head passes through the snug space of the birth canal. Billions of neurons have developed and are firing in your baby's brain, creating essential connections that will help him learn in and outside the womb. Your baby can open his eyes now and see the light that filters through your womb. He can hear too, so go ahead and talk or sing to your baby. As your due date nears, your baby will shed small bits of vernix caseosa, the white cheesy substance that covers his entire body and protects his skin from the amniotic fluid he's floating in. Your baby swallows some of these bits, along with other secretions, which pass through his digestive system to become his first bowel movement. At 37 weeks, your baby's skin is pink and soft. He's looking less like a wrinkled alien and more like a baby. He's gaining nearly 1 ounce a day and weighs about 6 pounds. He's now considered full term. In preparation for birth, most babies will turn so their head is facing downward. Your baby will stay that way, head resting in your pelvic area, as he gets ready to greet the world. In the weeks before birth, your body slows down production of the hormone progesterone while increasing production of other hormones, including prostaglandins, which soften the cervix, and oxytocin, which triggers the uterine muscles to contract. True labor contractions are rhythmic and painful and grow consistently stronger. As the long vertical muscle bands of the uterus tighten, they pull the cervix open. The strong muscles at the top of the uterus push down and release, guiding your baby toward the cervix. The mucus plug, a collection of thickened cervical mucus that sealed your cervix shut for 9 months, may be expelled days before or in the midst of labor. When the amniotic sac ruptures, your water has broken. It can feel like a trickle or a gush of fluid. Your cervix will begin opening and thinning, known as dilation and effacement. Once you reach about 4 centimeters, your body will move into active labor. In active labor, contractions become stronger and closer together. At 8 centimeters, you enter what many consider the most painful part of labor, transition. By 10 centimeters, you're fully dilated and may feel the urge to push. This is your signal that the second stage of labor has begun. Your baby will move down with each contraction. The 3 separate soft bones of his head will temporarily overlap so he can pass through the snug birth canal. Your baby's scalp will come into view. When the widest part of his head is visible, your baby is crowning. With several more pushes, your baby's face, shoulders, and body will emerge. In the third and final stage of labor, your placenta detaches and is expelled. With your baby's first breath, the incredible journey of birth is complete.
Let's take a look at this last pamphlet called Before You Choose. Very important. You're pregnant. Abortion may seem like an easy way to end it all, but it's not that easy, and it's not your only choice. Look at this little baby. It's only 6 weeks old, and it's perfectly formed. Very tiny, but perfect. Perhaps getting pregnant was a mistake, but abortion can be a bigger one. You know now that the best solution will respect your rights and the rights of the new life growing within you. You don't have to make your decision alone. There are caring people who can help you understand your choices and pick the one that works best for you. They offer friendship, understanding, and complete confidentiality, and most importantly, no pressure to do anything you don't want to do.
Thank you for visiting GPS. I'm Louisa Day, Director and Founder of Guadalupe Pregnancy Services, and we're just happy that you came by and visited us. We are an all-volunteer staff. We are an essential service. We have been here throughout the pandemic, serving our clients and our community of Rosemead and the San Gabriel Valley. We're located right here on the corner of Delta and San Gabriel Boulevard, across the street from Don Bosco Tech. And we invite you to come in and check it out. Come and visit us. We're here for you. And it's an important outreach that we do here in the community for our young people. We ask you to rise to the challenge. That's what it's all about. Our youth, our young people, if they're in need of counseling and education, that's what we're here for. As I said earlier, we're an all-volunteer staff, and everything that we receive and donate to our clients is donated by people who support us. So if you'd like to bring in donations of gently used or new baby items, toddler items, toys, we're here for that to receive. We can also use volunteers. You can earn your community service hours here at GPS. We've had many young people groups come in and benefit from these service hours. So come on in, check it out, and we're here for you. Thank you.